Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
What's up, everybody? Kevin Jackson. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. Glad you're with me. I got to tell you, I'm not running out of steam, but I can understand how people do politically. You know, we got Donald Trump. He's got a meeting with, he's got Schumer and Pelosi in his office and McConnell sitting on the sofa. And it looked like a meeting of Trump and the swamp creatures. And the rumor was Schumer left the office smiling. You know, what's that supposed to mean? Here's what I want to tell you. I want to tell you, calm down. Because people are like, Kevin, he's making a deal with Schumer. Sure he is. You got the ultimate deal maker, a guy whose instincts are, according to Sebastian Gorka, the best he's seen. And Gorka's a pretty sharp guy. You got a guy who has not let us down yet. You may disagree here and there, nuance, but for the most part, he hasn't let us down. He said he's going to build the wall. He's building the wall. He said he's going to address the trade issues. He's addressing the trade issues. Said he's going to build our stature in the world in terms of our foreign policy. He's doing that. Said he's going to revive the economy with his various policies. He's done that. He's gone after Obamacare. There's hardly a thing that Trump hasn't done. Stylistically, you may disagree, but you got to give the guy a chance. Let Schumer thinks he's getting a good deal. I saw a tweet that Schumer's going to, rule the budget, blah, blah, blah. You got no way, there's no way anything's going to get passed. He's going to attach everything to this budget issue, this, that, and the other. So it may go down in history as a stalemate between Trump saying, I'm signing nothing. I'll shut the government down. I have no problem doing that. Let me tell you what Schumer's used to. Schumer is used to politics 101. Guys, calm down. He's not used to dealing with Trump. He's not used to dealing with a negotiator. He's not used to dealing with somebody who knows this is exactly how much I'm willing to give, and that's all you're going to get. I can't wait to see the outcome personally. I put a lot of faith in Donald Trump's ability, now that he's kind of gotten his sea legs on politics. I have a lot of faith in this guy. I think Schumer is going to find out it's a very different day than it was dealing with George Bush, dealing with Barack Obama, which he loved. I mean, he was a lapdog for Obama. It's going to be very different. So, there are people writing to me. They're calling the show, trying to, Kevin, what do you think? Calm down. That's what I think. Oh, Ann Coulter's out there running around. He promised this, that, and the other with respect to the Dreamers. What does Ann Coulter think is going to happen? Let me tell you what's going to happen with the Dream Act. It's already repealed. Now they're saying the Dream Act will get passed because Chuck Schumer is going to put it back with all this other legislation. Good for Chuck. It isn't going to get signed. And Trump is going to make them deal with him like an adult. And I'm telling you, he's going to Joe Biden them. He's going to keep leaking things. He's going to accomplish for us the things that we've never been able to accomplish. He's going to do it with Twitter. He's going to do it with popular opinion, and you're going to drive it. I've already given you guys the secret decoder ring to Dreamers. Talk about the American Dreamers. That's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the black folks that can't dream anymore. And we're going to tie it to that. And we're going to make Chuck Schumer look like a blatant racist. He's going to pick between blacks and Mexicans. That's what we're going to make him do. Show me where you've had a better opportunity. Pick between blacks and Mexicans. Blacks have been in this country. You've trained them to become what you have. Now you want to take them for granted and bring over a whole new group of people? And we're going to have American Mexicans mad. I'm talking about Americans of Mexican descent are going to be mad at Chuck Schumer and the left for using Mexicans as a political ploy. If we do it right, you can trust the Republicans to do it. Donate your money. Go give it to those campaigns. Because you know what? You get exactly all the things you want when you donate to support those guys, don't you? Or you can come help us. Because I promise you, you know my agenda. I'm not greedy. I'm not trying to go buy a Ferrari or get a private jet. I will put your money and your time and energy into the things that change politics. And I know how to do it. But I'll tell you this, I will not follow Paul Ryan, Mitch McConnell, any Republican you name, any Republican group. I'll work with them and say, here's my suggestion to you. If you want to work with me, here's what we'll do. But I'm not joining them. No way, no how. Why would I join losers? People that don't know what they're doing. I got better time. Better things to do with my time, I should say. So that's what I suggest you do. And I suggest you understand the Trump agenda. Everybody, Kevin, he's meeting with these people. Oh my gosh, what do you think he's going to do? Donald Trump knows he's ideologically opposed to Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. Look, who's making strides? Nancy Pelosi, the other day, we talked about this, said, look, we got to stop criticizing Trump. Let's move our agenda forward. Thus the meetings. Now, they're going to get their agenda and they're going to say, we want to move this forward. And you know what Donald Trump's going to say? He's going to say, well, okay, we'll take a look at that. Sure, yeah, whatever. And they're going to leave thinking they got his vote of confidence. He's going to do it. Chuck Schumer, well, I had a meeting with the president and, it was a good meeting and I feel very confident that he's going to be moving the agenda forward with us and blah, blah, blah. And then Trump's going to surprise the living daylight. He's going to slap him. Pow. And he's going, what was that? I don't know. We left the meeting and we were under the understanding that we had an agreement and blah, blah, blah. And then Trump's going to go, I didn't say that. Told you I'd look into it. I looked into it. I don't agree. It was like global climate change. Everybody, oh, man, Ivanka, she's a global climate change person, and he's putting her on the staff to do this, that. And I was thinking, they had me going back and having to do research, trying to figure out what Ivanka's stance was. And in the end, it didn't even matter. Trump campaigned on, it's ruining our economy, it's nonsense, we're not going to follow it. And what did he do? He put in a guy at the EPA who's going to ensure that. And Donald Trump has been forceful in saying, I'm getting out of the Paris Accord. Now, what does he do? Yeah, we could come back in under the right circumstances. And, oh, he's going to come back in. What can we can't count on him. Sure you can. Because all he did was give a little olive branch. That's a negotiation. That dude is shrewd, man. Back in the
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Beth Cook Moranville, author of Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope.
Hope, that wonderful, wonderful four-letter word that you may feel completely out of. I wrote this book to give you great hope. It's not too late. If fetal position is an all too familiar place for you, I understand. If the next 60 seconds are too long, this book is for you. Wherever you are right now, whether you're dealing with divorce or death or sickness, take hope. You are going to make it through this pain. Don't roll your eyes. I've walked this road and I know it. The best is yet to come.
Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope from author and speaker Beth Cook Moranville. Can be found on Amazon.com or Kindle.com. For more information, visit closerthanyourBreath.com or on Facebook at Closer Than Your Breath.
Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It is the Kevin Jackson Show. Glad to be with you. So everybody is upset with Donald Trump because he has struck a deal with the Democrats. And essentially what Donald Trump did was he said, if the Republicans won't come to the table, then Democrats will have to do. Effectively, he's made politics a free market political competition, and there are people out there on the right who are mad about this. Government has to go on. Donald Trump is a realist. He's saying, you know what? It's going to go on. If they don't want to come to the table, I'll sit down with the enemy. I'll see what the enemy's willing to give up. I'll get my negotiation going. Then I'll go back to these other guys. What you're witnessing, folks, is genius. Now, it doesn't always mean it's going to go our way. But for people to just go lose their minds over this, it's crazy. What do you expect? You have two factions that don't like President Trump. The Republicans don't like him just as much as the Democrats. So the idea that they're working with him is ridiculous. He's saying, look, I got two sides that don't, there's 2 against 1 here. What do you think's happening? And it isn't the Republicans supporting the president against the Democrats. It's the Democrats and the Republicans, the establishment. Just call it the establishment is against Donald Trump. And people are losing their minds. He's raising the debt ceiling. He's raising the debt ceiling so government can go on. And he's also negotiating for tax reform and a host of other things. Let me ask you this. I'll put it to you this way. What has Donald Trump done that you go, man, that's just awful? He's fighting against refugee resettlement. He's fighting against immigration, illegal immigration. He's fighting against the foreign policy issues of Barack Obama, the legacy issues of Barack Obama. He's undoing all the unjust, stupid legislations that have curtailed business. He's fighting against Obamacare and a host of other things. What more do you want? If you got a guy in there who's fighting for you, he's got to eventually see what the enemy wants. But we have people losing their minds. And I mean, over every single, it's like, guys, grow up, wake up and grow up. Let the man do his job. But boy, people are so quick to turn. And it's funny. Let's say that there's 9 things you like about Trump and 1 thing you don't. You know what conservatives do? They lose their ever-loving minds and they're, oh my gosh, well, I can't stand Donald Trump. If it's that easy for you to abandon your people, the person that you had faith in a week ago, why do you think we don't get ahead? You don't even know his strategy. Just being honest, most people they haven't even given 2 seconds of thought. I mean, look, it's my job to think about strategy. And I can't tell you with certainty I know his strategy. So all I can do is I can base it on his actions. He's talked about building a wall. You think he's going to do it? I've seen the government going out for bid on it. I suspect it's going to happen. He's talked about illegal immigration. He undid DACA, which was illegal to begin with, and the idea of putting it back into Congress, that's where it was supposed to go. So what are we talking about? We're now talking about immigration reform. What more do you want? We weren't even talking about illegal immigration until Trump made the comment that the Mexicans are sending over their drug dealers and their sex traffickers or whatever, and then he took the bullets. How many other Republicans have you known that are willing to go out there and take these bullets? He talked about rescinding Obamacare. Did he try? Yeah. Who's he up against? You think he's got people on his side? You think Paul Ryan and McConnell are fighting for Trump? If they were fighting for Trump, he would be walking through legislation. The dude would be in a freaking Hugh Hefner robe walking through the Congress, the halls of Congress or the White House. That's how easy things would be for him. He'd be in a smoking jacket and, with a cigarette in one of those little extenders, with his pinky out and the martini in his hand. This is political genius, what this guy's doing. And while America's playing checkers, this dude is playing chess. If it goes the way that it's supposed to go, and I think it will. You think Trump is so unbridled and unprincipled that he's going to believe Schumer now? Look. When we get into immigration, I'm going to talk about that here in a bit. I will play for you clips of the Democrats supporting Donald Trump's stance on immigration. And the only reason I'm not saying when it was Trump, the only reason why they aren't supporting it now is because of Donald Trump. Who's he going to win over? You think Paul Ryan and those people are really willing to go at this? Paul Ryan is an obstructionist. I'm not blaming him for everything. Some of these things that get reported about him are lies. For example, he never stood up for Antifa. We thought he did, and then we researched it, and he never said that. That was a lie. Somebody posted a meme, and that was the end of it. But a lot of these other things, he is guilty of. It's come out of his own mouth. So this idea that Trump has struck a deal with the Democrats, folks, get over it. He struck a deal with people in government who, unfortunately, he must deal with in order to keep the government running. But when it comes time to negotiate on principled issues, who do you think's going to stand his ground? Trump or Bush? Bush 1, Bush 2? I mean, who's out there fighting for us? Seriously fighting for us. Doesn't give a crap what the left says. Doesn't give a crap about what his public opinion is about him one way or the other. Let me tell you something. Donald Trump doesn't have to win the next election in 2018 or 2020 to go down in history. He is historical. His job is done. That should make you feel good. A billionaire whose job is done, if Donald Trump decides he's going to quit the presidency tomorrow, he's historic in every way. So if you think he's got some skin in the game, I'm going to go out there and do something he's doing what he's doing because he really genuinely wants to improve things for America. What more could you want from a guy? I'm sick of everybody, Kevin, look at your guy now. Look at what are you talking about? Look at what? He's backing away on immigration. No, he's not. To even believe that, I'm just telling you, if you believe that, you're too easily led. He's saying, give it to Congress. I'll give it to Congress. I'll let them take the bullet. But he doesn't have to sign it. There's a lot he can veto whatever he wants. He's got certain powers that he can use. And he's already showing his influence. And all he has to have is your backing. God, I got to tell you, it upsets me because I'm a guy. I had one of my buddies call me the other night. And he said to me, point blank, this is a very wealthy man. He said to me, point blank, Kevin, he goes, it's a shame we haven't been in better touch. He knows it was his fault. He blamed me, but it was a joke. But he says, I got to tell you, dude, you are true blue. You have backed me no matter what. And I said, what else would I do? Do you know how many people can say that about somebody, that they can look at their lives and say, this is a person I know will come to battle for me. How about you let Trump have that feeling about us for a bit?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. The discussion of DACA is at ridiculous levels. It truly is. Welcome to the Kevin Jackson Show. KJRadio.com, 844-551-8255. And let me tell you just how ridiculous things have gotten with DACA. Cecil Richards, the president of Planned Parenthood, or Kill Blackie, as I like to call her organization, actually said this of dreamers. Everybody deserves a right to live. That's right. The president of an organization that kills babies in the womb and claims that it doesn't know when conception begins, a president of an organization that kills 300% more blacks than as a percentage of population, wants to say everyone deserves a chance to live. It's amazing to me how racist these policies are blatantly racist in your face. If Republicans supported Planned Parenthood the way Democrats do, everybody would see the racism. And then for Cecil Richards to come out and effectively say, listen, we're killing a lot of blacks. We're okay with that. Now we get the opportunity to kill a lot of Mexicans, but we'll get their votes. We can trick them the same way we've tricked black people. We'll get a couple of people like Julian Gonzalez and Luis Rodriguez or whatever their names are, and we'll use them to wrangle in the Hispanics into the barrios. We'll make them stupid like we have black people, and then we'll kill them. We've already got the formula. Democrat leaders called DACA the despicable act of a political coward. To that I said, true. Obama never should have done it. They didn't like my meme. Leftists hate DACA, at least under Trump, but they were cool with it when Hillary said the same thing.
But we have to send a clear message. Just because your child gets across the border, that doesn't mean the child gets to stay. So we don't want to send a message that is contrary to our laws or will encourage more children to make that dangerous journey.
Well, there you have it. Hillary Clinton saying exactly what Donald Trump said, yet he's the one who I can't believe it said that. So what would Hillary be doing right now if she were president? Do you think she'd be living up to those words, or do you think she would be capitulating? What do you think would happen? Do you think that Chuck Schumer is vehemently against what's going on here? Would they have called her a political coward? Just curious. See, these are the things that the left have to, I don't think they give 2 seconds of thought about it because they're disingenuous cowards themselves. Hey, by the way, I'd love to have a leftist call the show and defend what you just heard Hillary Clinton say. If you voted for Hillary, give us a call and defend her statements. 844-551-8255 if you have the guts. But see, the left, they have to support DACA. They have to support illegal immigration because they support sanctuary cities. They support the release of criminals who are over here illegally and who commit crimes. They support putting them back into society. If you knew the statistics, the number of crimes that illegals were committing, and I'm not talking about shoplifting or parking, illegal parking. Well, I'm talking about serious crimes. If you knew the list, there's no way as an American citizen you would put up with it. How many stories have you heard of illegals committing heinous crimes? It's likely very few. You're plugged in and you don't hear a fraction of them. Because there's no way you would fight to keep these people here if you knew of the crimes. In fact, Kamala Harris actually said, Senator Kamala Harris, who people think is black, but she's not, the woman that they want to be the next great non-white hope of the Democrat Party, actually said that dreamers do not commit crimes. I'm just telling you, you are up against an enemy that lies to you to your face, that uses fake numbers, fake statistics, that will say exactly what you're saying, except depends on who's saying it. They no longer believe it. They will flip-flop you. I tell you what, let's play the clip of Chuck Schumer versus Chuck Schumer when it comes to illegal immigration.
Who enter the United States without our permission are illegal aliens, and illegal aliens should not be treated the same as people who entered the U.S. legally.
The president's decision to end DACA was heartless and it was brainless.
When we use phrases like undocumented workers, we convey a message to the American people that their government is not serious about combating illegal immigration.
Hundreds of thousands of families will be ripped apart.
If you don't think it's illegal, you're not going to say it. I think it is illegal and wrong.
Tens of thousands of American businesses will lose hardworking employees.
A biometric-based employer verification system with tough enforcement and auditing is necessary to significantly diminish the job magnet that attracts illegal aliens to the United States. They may have known no other country but ours and have voluntarily registered themselves. All illegal aliens present in the United States on the date of enactment of our bill must quickly register their presence with the United States government or face imminent deportation.
I don't know how it could be less. Can it be any more clear? I know you thought I was going to say less clear. Chuck Schumer is arguing exactly our point, and then he argues against himself. And the only thing that changed was the administration. Look, guys, I don't know how you feel about conservatism. I don't know how you feel about politics. But I'll tell you this. If you've been paying attention to me, because I've been on the radio since 2009, if you've been paying attention to me, and what you'll learn is my stances haven't changed over that period of time. It doesn't matter who's in charge. I don't care if Ronald Reagan, who, by the way, who did allow illegals in, it was wrong when he did it. I'm happy to tell you that. I agree with the majority of things Reagan did. But that particular thing was when he allowed illegals to live in this country, I was completely against it and remain against it. It's ridiculous to do this. Do you realize we're the only people in the world having these kind of crazy discussions? It's mind-boggling. DACA, an illegal act by a president who was the worst president in the history of this country, who hated us. He did this for exactly the reason it accomplished. He did it so we would no longer be discussing immigration in the purest sense based on legal immigration. We're now looking at illegals and going, they should be here legally. Do we ever compare them to the legal people? Put one of these people side by side with somebody who's going through the motions to get here legally. Have you seen this meme of this young Mexican girl? She says, I got here legally and I'm not for DACA. You need to get here legally. Good for her. ICE Director Holman said that 10,000 illegals were released by Obama have committed serious crimes. You won't hear the media discussing any of this. You see these illegals marching with the Mexican flag, demanding rights better than citizens. You don't hear the media talking about that. Look, you want to come here, you want to march? I got no problem with it. I understand it. You want rights? What you see how our system works? No problem. But you want to fly your Mexican flag? I'm gonna get ICE trucks and round you up and send your little butts home. I can't even believe that they would have the nerve to do this, flipping us off, mocking the American citizens, the taxpayers who fund all this nonsense. And meanwhile, back at the ranch in Mexico, we are the biggest. I mean, if you take the United States and what we do for Mexico out of their economy, they implode. They implode. It would be truly the definition of hell to live in Mexico, because it would be run by drug lords. And by the way, it's very close to that. Take away the plants on the border that we put there called maquiladoras to support NAFTA, and you will have anarchy at border towns. Reynosa, Matamoros, all these towns. Caput, Juarez. We are their economy, and the Mexicans treat us as if we're beholden to them for something. What are you talking about? We are the reason that your economy clicks. And then go in the interior. Go to Mexico City, Guadalajara, and Monterrey. You'll find out how much business the United States does there. And for these guys to mock us this way is a travesty, a true legacy of the Obama administration.
Kevin Jackson on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
For your next vacation, experience Mexico the way our people experience your country.
Are we there yet, Dad?
Almost, kids. Keep paddling.
Sneak across the border to Mexico, and we'll cater to your every need.
Hola, amigos. I don't understand. Anyway, we're here for the free medical care. Oh, and the doctors will need to speak English because we're too lazy to learn Spanish.
You need a doctor?
Yeah, I'm pregnant again with twins.
And if they're born here, they're automatically Mexican citizens.
Then we can all become citizens.
Yay! They speak English in Mexican schools, right, Dad?
Well, they better.
This summer, make Mexico your very own.
Kids, once I get my forged Mexican driver's license, we can buy a crappy Mexican car.
Can we slap an American flag bumper sticker on it?
You're darn tootin'. We don't want to lose our identity.
Mexico, we cannot make you leave.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here, talking about DACA. We got a lot to talk about. Irma is obviously headed towards the coast and could be devastating to Florida if it stays on that path. It's funny, one of my friends who has a place in Florida goes, Kevin, I hope it skips Florida and goes up on the East Coast. And I was like, look at you. Wow. Wishing bad luck on, North Carolina and South Carolina and all up the East Coast. Well, I don't mean it that way. Oh, yeah, you do. I mean, look, let's just be honest. You don't want it hitting your place. He has one of those things where you go, come on, be true. Don't try to pretend. Anyway, I hope everybody survives this. I'm just glad the thing didn't hit Texas because they couldn't, they're not prepared to deal with it right now. We're just getting over Harvey. But I want to continue our conversation with DACA. Trump wants to follow the Constitution and the left revolt. That just amazes me. You follow the rule of law. Oh, what are you doing? You're undoing the illegal act of Barack Obama. How could you possibly? Then he says, hey, put it back into Congress. And Congress revolts, talking about they said it was the deplorable act of a political coward. The idea of undoing illegal legislation, giving it back to giving the power back to Congress is declared in a deplorable act of a political coward. The deplorable act of the political coward was Barack Obama, who issued an executive order that was an illegal act. Oh, my goodness. Multiple times, Obama admitted he didn't have the authority to implement DACA, but he did it anyway. And the left knows this. Yet, silence. And we played a clip the other day. Dianne Feinstein gets asked, was it illegal? Let's play that again because it's worth playing just to hear the rationale.
Was DACA legal?
DACA was executive order. Legal is the law of passage of something. There are 10 attorneys general that are prepared to sue. I don't want to get into that. The point is DACA is here, and we've got 800,000 young people.
Well, your answer indicates though that it's on shaky legal ground.
It is. That's why we need to pass a law.
Did you notice the pivot? She gets asked point blank, is it illegal? And she pivots. Yeah. because she doesn't want to tell you the truth. Yes, it was illegal. For President Trump to undo DACA is exactly what he should do, and he's putting it back into Congress. She says, Congress needs to adjudicate this or whatever she has. Okay, that's what Trump said. The truth, look, let's just be completely honest. Trump is saying, let's undo it. We put it back into Congress. That's the way the law is written. That's how we do things here. The executive branch does not create law. Congress does. End of story. And if the left were genuine, they would say, God, it's good to finally have a president in office who actually believes in the rule of law, understands the role of our government system, the system of checks and balances, and honors that by putting this back into our hands. Would you ever said no? I should just say said no Democrat ever, because they know that in order to do that, you would have to praise the man for doing the right thing. It's unbelievable, folks. Then DACA says, the left rather says, if DACA kids leave America, get this, we'll lose $400 billion in our GDP. Where do they get these figures? If you're a dreamer, you probably aren't really keeping your money above board. So they're coming up with some estimate that they pulled from between their butt cheeks, and they want you to believe the figures. And by the way, I don't care. The idea is if the DACA kids leave, the dreamers leave, if they're forced to leave, then we're going to have this big gap in our economy. No, this big hole. No, we're not. Other kids who've been looking for jobs are going to go get those jobs. Maybe black kids will go get those jobs. Have they even looked at the unemployment of black kids? How can you come out of your freaking mouth and talk to me about the number of dreamers that have jobs when you're looking at unemployment in the black community for teenagers of 50+%? Are they telling us that these kids don't want these jobs? I don't have an answer for that. Are these America's bean pickers and maids and pool boys and lawn care, or are these kids who are doing summer jobs to go to college? Tell me what jobs these DACA kids have. See, we got to put these folks on blast. That's what they call it. Put them on blast. Make them have to defend their actions against one of their special interest groups. Y'all have heard me talk about this. Obama issued an idle threat to Donald Trump. He'll have to deal with me. If he undoes DACA, he'll have to deal with me. Woo! That's got to say, you got to know Donald Trump has not gotten any sleep since hearing that. He's got to deal with what's Barack Obama doing? Is he going to pull a McGregor and call out Mayweather? We all know how that ended. What does Barack Obama act? What does he think he's going to do? Is he still president? Oh, that's right. He's running this subversive counter government group to Donald Trump. How's that working out for him? You don't even hear this fool's name. He comes up occasionally. Oh, I'm going to come and I'm going to do this. I'm gonna do. Fine. Come show us. Back up the threat. Call Trump out in the octagon. Trump is, I don't know, he's probably 15 years older than Obama, but I'd still put my money on Trump to whoop his bony butt. Then you have La Raza and groups like them who act as the illegals mafia. They're just an extortion racket. They want the American taxpayer to fund the bill so that La Raza can, do its thing to take over, I don't know what they're trying to do, but they believe America is theirs. We're the occupiers. You've heard, I think his name is Luis Gonzalez or Rodriguez or whatever, very outspoken, pro-Mexico, anti-American congressman. You've heard him talk about this. We're the occupiers. It's not going to work. That type of boisterous Mexican is absolutely the minority in this country. They think, we hear them all the time because the media gives them such a big voice. I promise you, they're like, the church house mouse. You rarely hear them or see them. I learned this about DACA through Tom Fitton of Judicial Watch. It says illegals could come here, commit a crime that gets them a 1-year jail sentence, and if they served less than 3 months, they would still be eligible for DACA. So you could commit crimes and still be eligible for DACA. The Dreamers, by the way, they do. 2,900 plus Dreamers have committed heinous crimes. Rape, armed robbery, gang-related activities, etc. They make these kids sound so, they're precious. They're Dreamers. It's amazing to me. John Legend says, don't call them illegals. They are dreamers and lovers. Where do these people come up with this stuff? I tell you what, John Legend, fund them. Then let them live with you in your gated community in your mansion. All these leftists share. They talk about these dreamers knowing they will have zero interaction with them. It's like Chris Rock when he's talking about his kids. He says, my kids, they live a white life. They don't deal with the issues that I dealt with as a kid growing up. I tell you what, Chris, why not? Because you took them out of that situation. Here's an idea. One of my friends came up with this, and he says, hey, let the dreamers build that wall. I thought, now there's an idea. I bet there's a handful of folks that agree with that.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
What's up, America? It's the Kevin Jackson Show. Glad you're with me. You know who this is. You didn't just stumble upon the show. Somebody tipped you off, or you've been following me for a long time, and you like what you hear, and we appreciate it. We really do. It's not just me. I say we a lot because it's a team of folks that make this happen. KJRadio.com is where you can find us on the internet, or you can contact us by phone at 844-551-8255. So the big news, we've had Hurricane Harvey wreaked havoc in Texas. We're still recovering from that. And on the heels of that comes Irma. And they're saying this could be the worst thing ever. So Katrina, horrible. Harvey, pretty bad. Now Irma, they're saying maybe bigger than Katrina. Who knows? And some leftists came out and said, why are they naming the female hurricanes? Why are they the worst? The female hurricanes, it's like a sexist thing. And I'm going, you can't please them. You can't please the left. If every hurricane were named after a dude, a white dude, John, Bill, or Bob, or whatever, there'd be something else. You're just complaining. Can we just not worry about the names of hurricanes and worry about the outcome, the destruction? People in Houston, Texas are still trying to recover, and the left are concerned about the names of hurricanes. Black folks, Sheila Jackson Lee, was mad that hurricanes didn't get black names. Why can't they name hurricanes Jaquan and Deshaun and Shaniqua and all? That's just ridiculous. Oh, drives me crazy. Anyway, Irma has the potential to be one of the worst hurricanes in history. And my heart goes out to these folks. And we face it every year. And what's funny about this is when you think about it in the context of global climate change and global warming and all that is, America, we have the most tornadoes of anywhere in the world. And we know why. They hit in the flat areas of the country, Texas, Kansas, etc., Alabama. They make a swath through there. And we have tornado season. We have hurricane season. And I don't know how long you've been alive, but it's been the same way every year of my life. I've never missed a tornado or a hurricane season. The only thing we talk about is how many tornadoes, how many hurricanes. Was it a big season for hurricanes or was it just a little one? Was it a big season for tornadoes or was it a little one? And then what the left does is they take the data and they go, ooh, well, look at this. It was the worst season for hurricanes ever. It must be global climate change. And then, of course, it's answerable by El Nino or La Nina or some other weather pattern that if you go back far enough in the years and you look at the tilt of the earth and the way the tide is and the sun flares and all that, you figure out it's just regular old stuff. It's the universe doing what it does. We don't control it. We don't influence it. Right now, you won't believe this, but it's true. There are people who are saying that the government is creating these hurricanes in order to get rid of brown people and black people. Like hurricanes are indiscriminate. Or I should say discriminate. That's what I meant. You know what I meant? That hurricanes can go seek out brown and black people. As if a tsunami were to hit the beach and the only person, when the tide went back out, the only people who would be left on the beach would be white folks. There are people that believe this nonsense. Guys, I mean, I'm sad to tell you, it is a strange world out there in so many ways. So we've got all these people that are in the line of fire, and instead of focusing on the humanity of it and how we can help, people are focusing on issues and creating issues where there are none. And what's funny too, no, it's not funny. Thankfully, Rick Scott is not doing what Houston did. And he's saying, look, I don't know where this hurricane is going to end up, but it looks like it's coming to Florida. So I say evacuate. And of course, there's the price gouging on gas. But look, you can call it gouging. You have capitalists who say, look, I've only got a limited amount of gasoline now. And I'm going to be out of commission for the better part of what? How long have they been out of commission in Houston? Weeks? It's only been a week or so, but they're talking about Houston's going to take a year to rebuild. Well, businesses are going to, let's say you're out of business for a month. You've got to get the money to run your business in a month in less than a few days. And they're calling it gouging. They're not, they theoretically don't let the trucks in when all these, natural disasters, because they don't want these big 18-wheelers away from their families stuck in Florida during a hurricane. I get it, but they're relaxing the rules now to say, no, not only can they come, they can bring more than what we normally would let them transport. So they're breaking all the rules that allow for, they call it for safety, but they're breaking the rules to allow people to get products to people cheaper and faster because it's hurricane season. Why can't these rules be relaxed in the regular time? It goes to say, oh, well, it's a safety issue, Kevin. No, so we can relax safety issues in the time of emergency that may or may not be an emergency, and it'll prove that the trucks can carry the loads. Just it's a racket. But anyway, Governor Scott is saying, get out, and people are getting out. They're not taking the Houston tact and going, oh, no, it'll be okay. We're going to hunker down. You can't just hunker down when you're at sea level. You got to take this stuff seriously. And I know it's an inconvenience, but it's hurricane season. And it isn't like it's something new. It happens every year. And yes, it could be a false alarm or it could be a Katrina. Anyway, there's a lot more to talk about with this and a ton of other stuff. Al Gore, what's funny, you're talking about global warming. His new book is lagging in sales. And in fact, it's being outsold on Amazon Kindle by an ebook that debunks his claims that were made in an inconvenient sequel, the movie that flopped. Climatologist Roy Spencer authored an ebook called An Inconvenient Deception to critique the bad science and some just blatant lies by Gore in his movie. And it ranks higher in Amazon's Kindle store. That should give you a lot of information right there in a little capsule. Anyway, we got tons to talk about, folks. Keep it here. We'll be back. And hopefully not in the line of fire of that hurricane.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Beth Cook Moranville, author of Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope.
Hope, that wonderful, wonderful 4-letter word that you may feel completely out of. I wrote this book to give you great hope. It's not too late. If fetal position is an all too familiar place for you, I understand. If the next 60 seconds are too long, this book is for you. Wherever you are right now, whether you're dealing with divorce or death or sickness, take hope. You are going to make it through this pain. Don't roll your eyes. I've walked this road and I know it. The best is yet to come.
Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope from author and speaker Beth Cook Moranville, can be found on Amazon.com or Kindle.com. For more information, visit closerthanyourBreath.com or on Facebook at Closer Than Your Breath.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. Speaking of hurricanes on the Kevin Jackson Show, we just talked about Irma. Obamacare is a hurricane in and of itself. Glad you guys are here. I hope you don't have Obamacare. I hope you've got some way of getting health care. There are all other kinds of systems out there. There's like this one that's a religious one where, you know, if you don't drink and you promise you're not having all kinds of crazy, you know, unprotected sex or whatever, but you have to sign like a thing that says, you can insure me, but I don't have any of these issues. You know, I'm not doing any of these issues. Then they will insure you and you're good to go. So there are other alternatives, but I got to tell you, Obamacare, Trump is smart in saying, let it implode, let it die on its own. Here's a Fox News report. It says state officials sounded the alarm Wednesday on Capitol Hill about skyrocketing Obamacare premiums as insurers across the country proposed double-digit rate hikes, renewing pressure on Congress to act. Now, that's Fox News. I don't know what MSNBC is saying and all that, because they're going to spin it as, you know, Trump doesn't want to do anything, whatever. Okay, fine. Trump already said, I'm not doing anything. I've already taken a stab at it. My negotiation is let it do what it do. And the only thing I will tell you, and I don't know if Trump said this explicitly, but I think he did. He said, I'm not giving you any money to continue this farce. So now Obamacare in, I think this is 5 states, they said, officials or insurance commissioners and people from Alaska, Tennessee, Pennsylvania, Oklahoma, and Washington State. Now, here's why, to me, why this is kind of critical. Washington State has become very liberal, mainly because of Seattle. And of course, it's near Oregon as well. All very liberal states. Anyway, these officials testified before a Senate committee on 2018 premium hikes, which are being finalized. And they're the ones that are complaining, but Washington State's the one I want to keep my eye on. Anyway, the report says in Alaska, premiums have increased 203% since 2013. Now, this is according to the state's director of insurance. 203% increase from 2013 to 2017, and they're proposing additional rate hikes. So think of it this way. Let's just use 200%. So your premiums were $50 to start. And they've gone up. If they went up 100%, it'd be at $100. But they've gone up to $200 in a period from 2013 to 2017. Now, I want you to put that in perspective of anything. Put it TVs, cars, mattresses, cost of living. Tell me anything that's gone up that high. Across the board, did Obama believe he's doing you a favor? 200%, 203%. And they're talking about him going higher. Now, if that doesn't sound alarm bells, how does a Democrat defend that? Well, I mean, after all, Kevin, it is Alaska, and, things cost more to ship into Alaska. Whoa. We're not talking about shipping a product. Alaska had hospitals. They had medical centers, whatever. Nothing new happened under the sun except Obamacare. And now insurance premiums are up 203% since 2013. Here's what this person says. On average, the increase means that an Alaskan in the individual market who was paying a monthly premium of $344 per month is now paying $1,041 per month in 2017. Now you do the math. That's $697. That's almost $700 more expensive over a period of a few years. But here's the thing. $700. That's not chump change. That's a lot of money for people, man. That is your heating bill. That is and I'm talking about this Alaska now. That's a car payment. That's a kid's college fund. That's big money for most people. Now, let me ask you, do you think Alaskans are getting better health care because of Obama? The answer is no. Oklahoma Insurance Commissioner John Doak told the panel he was warning about spiking rates for too long. He's been warning about them, and he says, and they were ignored at the federal level. Why? Because people were dogmatically interested in making sure that Obama looked good. He says Oklahoma is facing a collapse of our individual insurance market. He says the state has seen a rise in premiums of 130% over the last 4 years. He said it's time for serious leaders to make serious decisions to help people of every state get out of this mess. Doak said that Oklahomans have seen a dramatic decrease in competition, leaving them with fewer choices. I know this. I moved to Arizona, and I can tell you the choices here are one. He says Oklahoma in 2014 could choose plans from 5 carriers. In 2017, Oklahomans have 1. In Tennessee, proposed 2018 premium increases are between 21 and 42%, according to Julie McPeak, the commissioner of the Tennessee Department of Commerce and Insurance. They can't even guesstimate. Think about that guesstimate. It's going to be between somewhere around 20% increase to 21% increase to 42% increase. That's a double. That's like saying, it's going to cost you somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000. Not $5,000 and $6,000, $5,000 and $10,000. They can't even guesstimate this. Tennessee consumers will have at least one option for coverage, but only one, McPeak said, noting that a single choice did not represent the state's ideal marketplace competition. They said the trajectory of the Affordable Care Act is not sustainable. So the insurance companies have a deadline. They got to submit something by September 20th. And those rates will go up on healthcare.gov by September 27th. But let me tell you, folks, you're going to get a kick in your naughty bits. You guys are. when you see these rates, ladies, pick your poison, whatever your torture is, but it's coming. And the Democrats are fighting to keep this. Any sane community, sane society would go, you know what? Cut the losses. We are penalizing our citizens far too much for them getting nothing in return. Cut your losses. Nope, they don't want to do it. They now see that they can force us to pay for something, and they're never going to give this up unless we repeal it.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. I love talking about real stories of real people, and particularly those who get it. Those in entertainment fascinate me when they get it. And you guys remember Pullman? I think his name is Bill Pullman, 61 years old, True Lies, a lot of movies, died recently. Kid from Texas, guy from Texas. Obviously, he's not a kid, but I'm saying he was a kid from Texas, grew up in Texas. And his politics were, based on everything I've read about him, pretty conservative. But other than being a country boy, and he always, talk like this. And I remember in True Lies where he says, body like a 10-year-old boy, make you stand up and beg for buttermilk. And Arnold Schwarzenegger, wants to punch him. You remember? Yeah, I know you guys remember you remember the movie, right? My producers, you have to ask them because they're young. How old are you guys? Like 13? Can y'all legally work here? Anyway, so Pullman, everything I read about him, country boy, family guy, blah, 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 never talked about his politics. But when you look at his life and you read between the lines, you see he's kind of a conservative. Didn't wear it on his sleeve. And that's why he probably kept himself working pretty much in Hollywood all the time. But I value that versus a De Niro. I can't stand to even look at Robert De Niro now because he's such, Trump is an embarrassment. Really? How so? If Trump is an embarrassment, what must Obama have been? I mean, Trump is the most, what's the word I'm looking for? Accomplished? We've gone over this man's record in comparison to Barack Obama, and to even mention Obama in his name, somebody ought to just slap you. In the same sentence with Trump is what I meant to say. You can't mention those two together. Trump makes Obama look anemic. And that's just the truth. And I would be saying that if you flipped it. If Trump had Obama's record and Obama had Trump's record, I would tell you Obama is a rock star in comparison to Trump. As much as I may like the guy, if Obama's record were Trump's and we were comparing Reagan, I'd say I got to hand it to Obama. He's doing better than Reagan right now. Said nobody ever. Anyway, I applaud the guys, the people who don't get so caught up in their celebrity that they feel like, you know what, I'm a comedian. I should be able to tell you how to feel, in terms of your politics. If you want to be funny, Dave Chappelle is one of the funniest political comedians on the planet. And you can't figure out what he is. Other than his dope smoking and occasionally giving you a little tidbit here or there or playing to the audience, Dave Chappelle is an enigma. He walks that line. He bounces back and forth. That's what it's supposed to be. You shouldn't be so blatant. Now, don't misunderstand me. I'm a blatantly conservative comedian. I tell jokes that, excoriate the left. But if Donald Trump screwed up, I'd jump him too. But I'm only blatantly conservative because leftist comedians get so much attention. Donald Trump, he likes to grab women by the blah, blah, blah. You're so funny, Amy Schumer. Or somebody else. They're not funny. They're not talented. They're just mean. And their humor, I can watch a bit, a segment, they call it a set. I can watch a set for 5 minutes max if somebody's like just beating up on another side. Humor should make even the people that you're deriding laugh at you. That's good humor. Donald Trump doesn't generate enough of that humor. Oh, blah, 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 blah. The mannerisms of Trump, hey, sorry, I'm done with them. That, I get it. It's humorous, but it isn't funny if that's what you're going to carry your show with. Anyway, Kevin Hart, you probably know him, black guy, does a lot of things with The Rock now. Huge success now. I love how Kevin he's used an old comment. Yeah, it only took me, 10 years to find overnight success. But he's feasting, commands top dollar in movies, and he makes a lot. Stand-up performances sell out in almost every venue. But it didn't start out that way for Kevin Hart. He was born July 6, 1979 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Youngest of two boys, raised by his mother, Nancy. If this story is starting to sound a little bit, like mine, excuse me. Hart's father battled cocaine addiction. Really? So did mine. It landed him in and out of jail. My goodness, so did mine. Hart says humor provided a coping mechanism for his life, but fame from humor didn't come easy. Hart worked the comedy circuit. I refused to. He admits he didn't find success until he decided to use his life as a backdrop of his comedy. He learned he could make people laugh with his reality. Being real was his true success. I stop right there because I want, if you've got youngsters in your home, if you're a teenager listening to me, I want you to just remember what I just said. Kevin Hart was doing what everybody else was doing, and when he decided to be real, to tell his story, that's when he found success. See, that is the mark of success, when you can be real. And recently, Hart told the entertainment world that he doesn't believe it's his job to bash Donald Trump at every turn. Dave Chappelle said the same thing. Said, what? Psst, what do you want me to do? He goes, all the jokes about Trump are done already. And it's only going to get tougher for the left because you can't joke about a guy who's giving you success. Oh, yeah, look at my stock market. Yeah, it's the biggest ever. Look at that. It's an amazing market. Blah, and do all the finger stuff. But the fact of the matter is, if your portfolio is going up, you're a happy camper. Hart says it's his job to make people laugh. That's it. He says he's opening up about why he doesn't see the value of trashing President Trump. And here's what he says. The way I see it, my job as a comedian is to spread positivity, to make people laugh. This is the highest grossing comedian. Now, you can measure any way you want. I mean, De Niro makes a lot of, all these guys are rich, but Kevin Hart is saying, he's giving him the secret decoder ring. Leave Trump alone. He says, I don't want to draw attention to what's already pissing us as a people off. It's a sentiment that the What Now star first explained earlier this month in an interview with Variety, in which he said avoiding politically charged comedy keeps him from alienating a portion of his audience. And I talked about this with Amy Schumer, who did her set recently, and 30% of her audience walked out. Luckily for her, on a ticket it says no refunds. But do you think those people are going back? He says when you jump into the political realm, you're alienating some of your audience. What's brilliant is for Hart to recognize that nobody cares about his political opinions. Funny guy, nice guy. Joke about the president when warranted. However, the daily bashing of Trump's that most, and I use this term loosely, comics of today use as a crutch has grown tiresome. It's unbelievable. I listen to these people and go, do you know anything else? Can you actually frame out a joke? Dave Chappelle, I swear, you got to see his latest two specials. They are excellent. Anyway, Gingrich said this a while back about comedy. He says, the problem you have with humor in America today is that Hollywood is so enraged at Trump that they can't be funny. All they've got is pure anger. That's what's coming out in this stuff. And then they think it must be funny because they're called comedians. And then they exhibit their anger, almost a pathology on late night television. And you're supposed to laugh because, after all, they're comedians. They ain't funny because they're too angry to be funny. Completely agree. I predicted what Hart was saying back during the election cycle, folks. I also predicted Trump's win. Have I mentioned that today? Ironically, most of Hollywood doesn't even like Hillary Clinton. They just don't know who does. They have to pretend to care for the time being. But Trump's going to win in the end. And I said, and when I wrote this, I said, Dave Chappelle said recently that Trump jokes are already old. They're overused because leftist comics have nothing new to say. Like the media, they run on talking points, humorless talking points. See, the laugh's been too easy for the left, folks. Say you hate Bush, you win the audience. Until they finally figure out that they just wasted their money. Hollywood, folks, and the rest of liberal America are getting a rude awakening. And it's coming. It's showing itself in so many areas. Nancy Pelosi coming out saying, Antifa, oh, they're bad. Stop criticizing Trump. And so on. When is the last time you've heard of any impeachment of Trump? When have you heard of the Russian story? You know, instead of trying to be funny, these comedians, you know, they try to make a political statement and bash Trump, or they bash Bush, or they bash conservatives. I'm just telling you. And here's a dirty little secret. There are a lot more Trump supporters than the left want you to know, or they want to give you credit for. If you knew how many, you'd never waver on Donald Trump.
Kevin Jackson on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. KJRadio.com. And I've got shocking news. Shocking. You will not believe what I'm about to tell you. But the Democrats may have a problem in 2020. It appears that there will be no Clinton on the ticket in 2020. That's right. You heard it here first, folks. No Clinton. Don't ask me why. I mean, one would think that with everything that Hillary Clinton's got going on, that they would want her to be their top ticket. I mean, she's on a book tour. Now, this one apparently is successful. I mean, what she sold, like, 23 books? Something like that. Clinton's going out there, putting herself out there. She's recovered. Her wounds from November of 8th of 2016 have healed, and Hillary is out there now telling the world, well, she's making up new excuses. It's Bernie's. Bernie is now the reason why she didn't win. It was Comey, then it was right-wing conspiracy headed by Trump, and it was the Russians. I mean, it was Barack Obama. Now it's Bernie Sanders. Where is Bernie, by the way? We haven't heard much from Bernie. Bernie must be spending his money because Bernie Sanders is now a rich man. He's enjoying that new cabin he built by the lake. I wonder what, I know Bernie was driving that Audi, that like $90,000 Audi. I bet you money Bernie's got a new ride. Did you guys know this? Bernie Sanders got his wife to pay, I believe, their daughter and somebody else to like $500,000 to teach woodworking at a college. It's ridiculous. Chelsea Clinton, I'm just telling you how these people feather their nest. Chelsea Clinton got a a fat cat job out of college with no experience working for NBC. We did a blog on it. She was making $27,000 an hour when you amortize how much time she actually worked and what was produced. John Kerry's daughter got some cushy job doing nothing. These people feather their nest better than anybody. You think let me tell you, I used to think the money was good in professional sports. It is nothing. Repeat, nothing in comparison to what the left will do, what they can get you. If you're the child, I told you guys, Malia Obama, she was an intern at the Spanish embassy, got fired for smoking dope on the roof. Verify that, because I just saw a quick thing on that. I'm not going to say that's 100% because I don't know, but I saw a quick drive-by of it. That they sent the vehicles over with Secret Service. They picked her up and she was fired. How do you lose that job? And I'm telling you, it was a reliable source, because they said, she took a year off from going to Harvard. She's supposed to be going into Harvard or going somewhere. You can bet this girl's not qualified to go to Harvard. You can bet. I will bet you money she's not qualified. Doesn't have the grades. This chick was a party girl. And now she took a year off, gets fired from the Spanish embassy. Now she's, I don't know, giving somebody pure DHE double cricket socks. You can bet on that. You think there'll be an Obama on the ticket in 2020? What y'all think? Michelle? Why not Malia and Sasha? Why don't we break more rules? Let them. So what? They're not old enough. We don't care about the Constitution around here anyway. Yeah, so no Clinton ticket. Chelsea, will she run? That girl, to be somebody whose foundation is as crooked as it is and whose parents are under investigation, she sure has a big mouth. She comes out on Twitter all the time. Down the champ, down. Let me tell you something, Chelsea. You better watch your step, girl. End up in big trouble. But they say Biden may run. You guys think I'm kidding? They say Biden is giving it serious thought. How old is Joe Biden? I think Biden's like 72, 73. Biden would be 76, 77 years old by the time he ran for president. I don't know how white folks think. Somebody help me with this. You can give me a call. Send me a note to kjradio.com or call me 844-551-8255. Is that the way white folks think? Y'all get to be in your 70s and you start living life? Look, Biden should have been living life for the last 50 years. I don't know his record, but he's an attorney, went to a nice school, grew up in Scranton. And so he grew up in Scranton in a segregated town, because you remember he had the black side of his town, and he would go over and help tell black women that they did not have to be beaten during sex, and told black men that they could wear condoms. They should wear condoms. I'm just glad Biden did that outreach to the black people of his town. Good for him. But he's considering running. Clinton is gone. Now it's clear for him to go, because remember, he said Hillary was a better candidate than he was when he was elected VP. He said Hillary's a better candidate. But he served as VP. So now the runway's clear. Joe Biden, who will be 70-something years old, mid-70s for sure, now is beginning life. The idea that Joe Biden believes it's 75 years old. Let me tell you something. No offense. I know my grandfather in his 70s. He was he's a sound mind. I mean, he lived to be almost 90 years old. So we got another 15 years out of him. But I'm going to tell you this. I wouldn't want him in charge of anything sophisticated like the American economy. No offense against him. I love him to death. But, I could see diminished capacity. I get it. Biden believes he's as sharp as ever. Okay, well, he's as sharp as a meatball. I understand. All I'm saying is one man sharp does not mean it belongs to everybody else. couldn't come up with something quick. And I must be losing it. But for Biden to believe that he's good to go, man. And you know what's funny about this? The Democrats are taking it seriously. It's Elizabeth Warren, 67 years old. She'd be 71 when she ran. Look, I don't know how these people think you age. Consider every president, when they start and when they finish, they start with, looking young. They finish looking rode hard and put up wet. Barack Obama started with black hair, ended with salt and pepper gray hair, and he looks bad. Now, Kevin, he's 50-some years old. He's not old. 50 is the new 30, for goodness sakes. Don't get me to telling how old I am. I look good. Body of a 25-year-old Chippendale model. Shoot, what y'all talking about? But, so, look, let's recap. You got Hillary Clinton. Well, she's not running, but she'd be in her 70s as well. Elizabeth Warren would be in her 70s. Bernie Sanders would be in his 80s. Joe Biden, definitely in his 70s. Who else? O'Malley? Is he going to run and lose? Who do they have? Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, blah, blah, blah. Boring. All I'm telling you, folks, if you are seriously considering Joe Biden, and they are, I read the article, it's not a joke. And it's not one of those Trump jokes like, yeah, whatever, Donald Trump. Come on, man. I remember when Donald Trump, when he announced, when he was asked before he announced, he said this. He goes, I'm going to make an announcement soon. He goes, hey, all I can tell you is, hey, the announcement's probably going to shock you. It's going to shock you. And I was like, he's not going to announce for president. Don't even start, Donald Trump. And what did he do? Announce for president? And what did he accomplish? He became president. If you think that that's going to happen to Biden, you are out of your mind. Yeah, Trump's under fire. GOP, one guy tweeted the other day, he said, this is the first day of Trump's presidency as a Democrat. And I'm thinking, wow. We're so trained. We're like SeaWorld seals. The left tells us, oh, well, Donald Trump's meeting with the Democrats. Oh my gosh, I can't believe he's meeting with the Democrats. So what, you want Biden? You want Hillary now? Who do you want? Or do you want the guy that's performed? Hey, say what you want. I see nothing wrong with Donald Trump's strategy that says, I'm going to meet with the opposition and find out what they have to say. I'll ask you again. You want Hillary Clinton? You want Biden? You want Elizabeth Warren? Who do you want? You want one of these lefties? Give the man a chance. But the funny thing is, guys, it probably won't matter because the Democrats can't field anybody worthy of it, and Trump's definitely going to make it difficult for sure.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It is the Kevin Jackson Show. My son has a huge, he's a huge fan. I was going to say he has a crush. He doesn't have a crush on Bruno Mars, but he's a huge fan of Bruno Mars music, as am I. I remember when Bruno Mars did the Super Bowl, I was just floored at how talented this guy was. I was like, Michael Jackson, we miss you, but Bruno Mars, holy cow, what a talent. The Kevin Jackson Show is what you're listening to. Speaking of talent, KJRadio.com. If you want to call the show, 844-551-8255. Now, why am I talking about Bruno Mars? Because my son, while we were in the car, and he says, "Hey, Dad, he can hear it." I couldn't even hear it, but he was like, "Dad, turn the radio." And of course, it's Bruno Mars' song 24 Karat or something like that. And I love the old school beats of Bruno Mars. I got to tell you, I like this guy. It makes me want to go out and buy his records. That's a joke. That was an old man joke. Get his downloads, have it with you all the time. Sold a TV at my house, older Sony. It's got built-in speaker system. It is amazing. That TV was phenomenal, but it's old technology now. So I sold the thing for like $100 or something. And a young black couple came to, a young black lady and her mom came to pick it up and had Bruno Mars playing through the stereo system. And you don't need surround sound with this TV. It was freaking awesome. I almost hate I sold it. It was beautiful. So they come in and Bruno Mars is playing on there and they were like, whoa, who is this? They couldn't believe. They were like, this coming out of the TV? Yeah. And as I was sitting there playing, I was like, I don't even know that I want to sell this. But I did. It was a heavy TV in comparison to what you can get today. But long story short, Bruno Mars, amazing guy. He will help you sell your TV. So I'm listening to Bruno Mars. My son's jamming in the back of the car, and it hits me. Who would I really like to meet? And I was thinking, I'd love to meet Bruno Mars. In studio, hang out with him, have a beer, a taco, whatever. Just not in a starstruck way. Just to pal around with Bruno Mars and get his take on why he's doing throwback music and all that. And then I thought to myself, the best thing I could do to be Bruno Mars's friend is to not believe that I'm hanging out with Bruno Mars. I would not treat Bruno Mars, and by the way, this is true of all my celebrity friends. I don't goo and gaga. I go, I love your talent, but your voice is no more important. And I'll tell you, I got some Hollywood buddies. They call me up. They say, Kevin, you're like my hero. And I'm going, how can I be your hero, man? You've made 20 movies. You're my hero. Well, you're mine. They are so down to earth. But here's where it got me. I don't know how many fans Bruno Mars has on his Twitter thing or whatever. I don't know how many people listen to his videos, but I bet you it's in the tens, if not the hundreds of millions. And we do this why? Because this guy has an amazing voice. That's it. I was thinking the number of people that Bruno Mars reaches because he can flat out sing. One of the top 5 singers entertainers, I should say. He's Sammy Davis Jr., Michael Jackson, and somebody else rolled up into one. I don't know who. But all he does really well is he takes these patterns of sound and he puts them in a very melodic way that we enjoy, and hundreds of millions of people hang on his every word. That's amazing, isn't it? Bruno Mars might be the dumbest guy on the planet outside of music. Hundreds of millions of people hang on his every word. Now, he uses his words in music, but from what I hear, he's a lefty. I don't know. But hundreds of millions of people hang on his every word. If Bruno Mars says, I don't like Trump, many of his fans, these young kids, will go, I don't like Trump. I guess I shouldn't like him. I played a clip the other day of Penn Jillette, I think's his name. And he was on Glenn Beck's show. And he like I said, he lost faith in science, or magic, I should say. He lost faith in magic when he learned that Kreskin had tricked him. And that's all it took. Well, Bruno Mars could be the Kreskin of a lot of things, but I'm only picking on him because I happen to like his music, and so does my son. But I could pick anybody you want. Ben Affleck, Susan Sarandon, what's his name? With Affleck, does the Bourne movies. Jason, anyway, you know who I'm talking about. The point is, whether it doesn't matter who Matt Damon, doesn't matter who these people are, they say one thing, and millions of people go, oh, okay, that's the way I feel. And they do that. Why? Because a guy can act? Because a guy can sing? Because somebody can dance? Because somebody's on TV on a show somewhere or an anchor on a news program. That's it. That's all it takes. Meanwhile, we research, we go through painstaking discovery to get to the points that we get to. And we're right, folks. That's what's so sad. We are so right. I mean, not sad because we're right. Sad because our voice, one person on their side can negate many of our voices. How do we change it? I'm not going to tell you I have the answers today, but I'll tell you this. You cannot do it without creating voices. See, Bruno Mars should be able to say whatever he wants to say. And I should be able to say, you know what? I love Bruno Mars's music, but that dude is dumber than, and finish it. And people go, wow, Kevin said Bruno Mars is dumb. I said he's talented too. But when it comes to politics, he may be dumb. Stevie Wonder, amazing talent, dumb in politics. Don't let Stevie work on your car. Don't let Stevie drive your car. You get what I'm saying? We give so much credibility to these people and we allow them to gain it. And they have zero. If I were Bruno Mars, other than the fact that my money's getting taken, I would be in the studio. I would not be working on this kind of stuff. I'd have people that did this. I wouldn't be doing it. I just wanted to bring this to the attention that somehow, folks, we got to address this. We can't just sweep it under the rug. It's going to come back to bite us. We'll be back.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Beth Cook Moranville, author of Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope.
Hope, that wonderful, wonderful 4-letter word that you may feel completely out of. I wrote this book to give you great hope. It's not too late. If fetal position is an all too familiar place for you, I understand. If the next 60 seconds are too long, this book is for you. Wherever you are right now, whether you're dealing with divorce or death or sickness, take hope. You are going to make it through this pain. Don't roll your eyes. I've walked this road and I know it. The best is yet to come.
Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope from author and speaker Beth Cook Moranville, can be found on Amazon.com or Kindle.com. For more information, visit closerthanyourBreath.com or on Facebook at Closer Than Your Breath.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. I was watching this show called How to Get Away with Murder. And it's got Viola, what's her name? I forget her last name. But anyway, she's a black lady. Plays the attorney. Strong, powerful role. Shows weakness too. But she, it's a good role. It's an interesting story. She's a professor of law at a prestigious university. Very well respected. Professor Keating. And she gets off very difficult clients. But there's another thriller going on inside of the story, which is kind of interesting. And to have a black leading lady, protagonist of sorts, sometimes antagonist, who was groundbreaking, and I think she won an Oscar, and of course said how Hollywood was racist. But the reason why I bring her up is I bring up the show because it's got gratuitous gay sex. It'll show these two guys this one guy is blatantly gay, and he targets men to, for sex or whatever. And it's just over the top. You can tell that the director or whoever is doing it wants to offend your sensibilities and make you just go like, oh gosh. Scenes that quite frankly go on too long. I watched the other day, and it was a gay, scene or whatever. A guy needed some information and decided to pump it out of his boyfriend, pardon the pun. And it was the first time that I've seen one of the scenes in that show where they didn't completely overdo it. It was innuendo. They, kind of a playful kiss, and then it's moved off into the next day. But it's like, like I said, gratuitous to say the least. Anyway, the reason why I want to bring this up is because there's a show out there called The Sinner. The Sinner, not Center. The Sinner is in, sinning before the eyes of the Lord. Sinner. Person who commits sins. Do you watch this show? You guys watch it? You even know about it? You know about it? You don't? Okay. Well, it features the latest one, I think, because I don't watch it. So I'll just be blunt. I don't watch it. I have, most of these things I'm talking about, I'm not going to watch it. I don't have time, number one, and I don't have an inclination. But what's interesting about this one is the show features incestuous teen lesbian sex. Teen lesbian sex. And the show, from what I'm told, is geared towards kind of younger audiences. Anybody know? Again, I don't watch it. So it got me to thinking, why? What is it? Would the show, here's my litmus test. Does the show do better with or without the scene? And I remember when I was like working on prepositions, and people would say, well, is it extraneous information? Does it move the plot along or whatever? So you have this, in the case of the How to Get Away with Murder, the gay guy sleeps with people to get information. Okay. I don't have to see it. I just have to know, hey, you want to go back to my place? Sure. They go, cut away, back to the office the next day. Yeah, hey, I happened to get the information. How'd you get it? I can't kiss and tell. I get it. Because that's kind of what happened anyway. But no, they got to show, all the hot and heavy. Now this show, The Sinner, features teen lesbian sex, 2 girls. I told you when John Legend cast for his video, anti-Trump video, John Legend cast for white and Hispanic girls to kiss on camera. Preferable if they are gay, and it would show that, the Trump is not love and John Legend is, and the left is love, and love, 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 love. All we need is love. And it bothers me because I didn't see The Sinner, but the way it was described when I was reading the article, I was like, you don't even need that. The agenda's so clear. Shove it down their throats. Anyway, something else I want to talk about. So Donald Trump, obviously has these resorts, and people become members, which is normal, right? Well, they're tracking 4,500 Trump golf members and outing them, I guess, politically. I don't know what they're doing. Are they going to check with Zuckerberg? Hey, Zuckerberg, can you check Kevin Jackson? He's a member over at Trump International. See what he's got going. See if we can extort him, intimidate him. What else could you possibly want with this information? I don't even know that it was credit cards and all that. Does it matter? Who snooped in and decided, you know what? I want to get this information on Kevin Jackson. That's why I tell people I wrote my book. So if anybody goes, well, you did so-and-so. And I go, yeah, I did that. I think it was on like page 117. I talked about something similar. And then I sang the song, please be patient with me. God is not through with me yet. Oh, man. So, where we at? We got 4,500 people who, I guess, I don't know if hackers did this or whatever, but they got this information, and now they're like essentially saying to these people, we have your information, and you better do it. What do you want them to do? Vote Hillary? A little late. She's not running again. So what do you want them to do? You want them to beg for their identity or their information back? From what I'm told, they didn't get like credit card and stuff like that. They got membership information, which, I mean, could be valid. I don't know. I've never been one to want to steal people's information. Why would you do that? You steal their identity. I get it. Maybe you don't like yours. Self-hate. You don't like your identity? Let me steal somebody's identity. That'll do it. Run up some bills in their name. Make their lives miserable because why? I'm a leftist. That's what I do, right? Anyway, it bothers me that people see that type of extortion and use it as a political toy. They want to I can't compare it to this because it's not totally fair. But what's that site that like gives people hookup? You find a dating partner, not sex partners or whatever. Sarah or Sadie Mae or something like that. I honestly don't remember the name of it. But when they expose all those people, then it was, oh, look at what we've got. We're going to go out and find, if you're on that list, we're going to get you. And you know who they end up getting? A bunch of leftists. I bet you know what would be funny? If they look at this 4,500 people and 80% of them are leftist. And they've said good things about Trump, like, well, say what you want about his politics, but his spas are amazing. That Federico's hands should be minted and put in the Smithsonian. I don't know what they would say, but it's disturbing that people want to steal data and out people. Let people live their lives.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
What's up, everybody? Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. KJRadio.com. Please go there. Check it out. Also, go to teapartycommunity.com. Go to racepimping.com. Just jot these down. And if you want to call us, give us a call at 844-551-8255. What do I want to talk about right now? Let me repeat that because I went too fast. 844. Get your pen. Come on, pencil. Get it. 844-551-8255. Okay, there we go. So listen, there's a giant out there that's after you. It's called leftism. It's run rampant for so long, and it's consuming you, and it's slowly sucking you in. And I'm going to tell you, when I get through with today's, different explanations of leftism, you'll understand what I mean. So what I'm talking about is there's a behemoth out there. It's the media, and it's gone into social media. And the media is one thing. We could deal with the media. Okay, they give you misinformation, but social media is a whole other. You want to know why? Because many of you make your living with social media, or you're on your hustle with social media. Social media did things to allow people to make money in ways they never dreamed of. People that go on eBay and resell. You resell products on Amazon. You may even be a small manufacturer of something and you had no audience, no way to get to those people. And now you do because you jump on the World Wide Web and you offer your wares. And every time you did it, you thought, wow, this is great. And the people who invented it and all the different, for example, Zuckerberg, I want to unite the world. I want everybody to be able to speak to everybody. You've got your own little place in the sun, yada, yada, yada. Google. We have the amazing search engines, and we just want people to have access to information. And you know what they've done? They've lured you in. You use it now all the time. There's search engines, their Facebook pages or whatever. And they are slowly putting their fist around your neck. They're squeezing it. And if you make money, you are going to be in big trouble in a few years because these guys are after you. They're gathering up all the best minds and they're hiring them and giving them crazy amounts of money. The Snowdens that go to work for the government are going to work for Google and Facebook. And they're building algorithms to know all about you. And they're going to know all about you and they're going to make sure you are able to do nothing to thwart them. They have become more powerful than countries, more powerful than governments. Policy around the world is being done around a few 30-something entrepreneurs. I'm talking about millennials are changing the way the world has to view stuff. And in many cases, they're complicit with those governments, with those socialists. I don't know if you guys knew this. Back in 2016, YouTube, owned by Google, came up with a new policy around its videos. I don't know if you were monetizing videos, but many people do. They go, it's really funny. I'm going to do something clever. And by the way, this isn't just politics, folks. This is people. These videos are made by people that they're practical jokers. They're doing how-to videos or whatever. There's an old black lady. I forget the name of the thing, but I've watched her, and she says you can cook for 10 people for $3.50 for $10. And she'll say it's $1 a person, and she'll show you how to do it. And she's smoking a cigarette and cursing all the way through it. But they're funny to watch. And she makes, a few $1,000s a month. But now she's going to be censored. You want to know why? Because she uses too much profanity. See, you may not even know she exists. You may not know that she'll talk about her MF beans and the MF bacon and the GD this or that. And by the way, I don't condone it. She doesn't need it in order to sell her recipes and stuff, but that's just the way she is. She's being herself on YouTube. She puts it out there with the language warning, and because they make her put that on there, and people come to watch it because they find out the college kids watch it like crazy for two reasons. They find it entertaining, and they also find what she says is correct. They can all go eat there for $1 and have leftovers. So she's found herself a little place in the sun. Old black lady. She's not that old. She's probably in her late 50s. But she's making money doing this amazing thing that she loves doing. And YouTube says, you're using profanity, vulgar language. So they demonetize her videos. So she goes from making a few $1,000s a month, getting hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views of people watching her videos, to making nothing. Back on the welfare line, back out on the streets, being a prostitute. Who knows? I don't know what she's doing, but I know they demonetized the videos because their arbitrary policy said, you know what? Old black lady that likes to curse and make food cheap and show people how to eat for nothing. Your videos could potentially be offending people. So the people watching her videos are not offended. They're not signing up going, this is so offensive. I did not believe that I could watch. You don't have to watch her videos. But ask Sergey Brin of Google if he gives a crap. Because let me tell you what Sergey is going to do. He's going to monetize those videos anyway. He's going to keep the money. YouTube arbitrarily said, if you don't get over a certain number of views, we're not going to pay you. Doesn't matter that it's no skin off their nose to let you make your little $3 a month until you finally reach $100 till they got to pay you out. They don't care. You're the little guy. So they punish the little guy. They've got rules that won't let you, they call it harassment. Oh, you can't harass. What do you mean harass people? How do I know what's harassing somebody? If I make a video and I'm a rapper, and I go, that rapper over there, he's a piece of crap. I don't like him, and I'm going to make this rap, whatever, and I make $1 gazillion. They'll play that all day long, but you make a video that says, you know what, I think that's stupid, Barack Obama, blah, blah, blah. Oh, we're not going to let you monetize because you're harassing people. They have a thing for inappropriate language. Well, whose language is inappropriate? How do I know what is inappropriate to one person? I know people that say shoot And people go, "Oh, don't use the Lord's name in vain," or, whatever. Or, they say, "Geez, don't use the Lord's name in vain." Or, "Shoot, don't curse." Or, "Darn it, there you go with your mean-spirited language, Kevin." Are you kidding me? YouTube has the right to demonetize you. They can make money off of you, but you don't get it unless you follow their guidelines. We're the employer. We're the biggest guys on the block. You will use YouTube. And so then they make these deals together. They say Facebook now has this thing called instant articles. They'll let you do your instant articles, but the only videos that they accept are YouTube videos. So now Zuckerberg and Sergey Brin are in it together. Hey, I tell you what, Mark, if you just do this, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. These are two behemoths worth hundreds of millions, billions. What's Facebook worth now? By the way, for you people that want to get into something that's not quite, that isn't going to be as big as Facebook, but it's pretty close, it's going to do some good, invest in Tea Party community. If you're serious, if you want to put some money to good use, you want to be a part of something that's different, that's going to peel the conservatives off of Facebook and monetize, get in on the bottom floor. You're listening to the owner. You're not talking to him, but you're listening to him. Give it a shot. What do we have to lose? We're going to be pushing this. You want to know why? Because the difference between what we're doing and they're doing is you can speak. Speak your mind. As long as you're not trying to kill somebody, I don't care. You can curse. You can do. If that's who you are, be who you are. But these guys don't want you to be that. The leftist behemoths. This was in 2016. Nothing has changed, folks. The channels that I'm reading this, the channels that self-identify as vulnerable by these advertising guidelines seem to be the news channels covering sensitive real-world politics. This is a guy named Kotaku, a guy who's a prominent YouTuber. His name is Philip DeFranco. He responded to this controversy. He vowed, "I'm not going to censor myself," despite the fact that dozens of his videos have been demonetized. He's saying, you know what? I'm still going to get the word out. That's the difference between us and them. We would do it for free. And you know what they don't want? They don't want you affording yourself a living, because they know if the word gets out about who we are and what we do, there will be no leftists in this country. You want to know why work like mine is important? Why a TV show that I may get, or a radio show, the radio show I'm doing now, is important? Why promoting the movie Bleeding Blue, you can go to bleedingbluemovie.com, is important? It's because they don't want this stuff to get out. They open up the Komodo and say, "Come in and take advantage of all this great stuff." Oh, we just meant leftists. We only want one point of view. And the minute you start to monetize, the minute your message starts to resonate, oh, you know what we're going to do? We're going to have to stop you from making money from this, because your message is offending people. And they hope it shuts you down. But it's not going to, folks. We're bigger than they are. We're better than they are. We're badder than they are.
Kevin Jackson on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177, or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It is the Kevin Jackson Show. KJRadio.com. We talk about everything here. We're going to talk about sports. You guys want to talk sports? Because there's some important things going on in sports right now. I bet you have been riveted to your sports channel. What sports do you guys follow? Follow baseball? Okay, so you're probably watching, the playoffs, or when they're going to, who's going to make it, the race, right? The pennant race is what they call it. Hockey, I don't know. What sports are going on right now? Football starting up? You watching football? I'm not watching football. Colin Kaepernick's got a new story. He came to the defense of Michael Bennett. And what a joke. Well, maybe we'll talk about it next week because we're not going to have time today. I just don't want to waste any time on it. But there's a lot of sports going on. But the biggest thing in sports that's happening right now that's not being talked about, the WNBA Finals. Are you following this? Who's going to win the WNBA playoffs and finally end up in the finals? And then whatever. Well, they get a trophy, right? What's the biggest contract in the WNBA? Do you know? I'm just curious. I know one girl in the WNBA. You want to know why? Because when all the brouhaha was going on over gay athletes, this woman is a gay athlete. And she was truly the first, quote, pro athlete who came out as gay. I think her name is like Tiffany something. Black chick, light-skinned black chick. And then later on, she had allegations. Get this, she Ray Riced her significant other, like beat her up. She's a butch-looking girl. But Tiffany's, but she was the first openly gay pro athlete. But they didn't count her. They said I think it was Jason Collins was the first openly gay pro athlete. Then next came Michael Sams, who was never a pro athlete. But the real first was Tiffany. I think it was Tiffany Groner, something like that. Does that ring a bell? Yeah. So she was the first real gay athlete. But here's my point to all of this discussion that we're having. You don't follow the women's NBA, do you? I don't. I don't even know who's playing. Look up who's playing because I want to know. I want to do it before we even go on break. I want to know who's playing in the WNBA and who's got the biggest contract in the WNBA. But and look, those girls are skilled. Have you seen videos of these? There's a girl, a little young girl. She's probably 12. And her dream is to play basketball in the NBA, to be the first woman to play in the NBA. You should see this girl. Her dribble skills are awesome. And I don't know if she'll make it. I wish her luck. I hope she's that good. I remember when Nancy Lieberman and I used to play ball together, Nancy Lieberman-Klein and Rhonda Rompola, and these girls could play. They could flat out hoop. Love being on their team. I learned more about basketball playing with those chicks than I learned my entire life playing with dudes. Serious. They had some amazing technique. Anyway, the WNBA playoffs is going on. I don't know who's playing. You don't know who's playing. If I took the average American and I said, name me one player in the WNBA by name, I think most people would be hard pressed. Unless you have a daughter that's a baller, you don't need. Kevin, what? You might as well ask me to tell you in Chinese and to write it down in Chinese, because nobody know, you ain't paying attention to that. But there's a sports channel dedicated to it. And look, if I had daughters, I'd probably be more tuned in. But I don't want to see chick basketball, and it isn't because they're not good. Like I told you, I watched this young girl that wants to make it to the NBA. Wow, she's awesome. She's amazing. But are you glued to the WNBA? You know, when they went to, was it Title 8 or Title 9, one of them, that said all the sports money needed to be equal and girls needed their own programs and all that. Whew. And I'm not going to be mad at people for wanting that. You know, a lot of the nation is made up of people with daughters. And they want their daughters to play. But what do you think finances most of the stuff that's going on in colleges and universities? They're big sports programs. They're men's sports programs. That's what does it. Men's sports programs bring in so much money. That's why the athletes are going, why don't we get paid? It's a multi-billion-dollar business, the NCAA. And the guys are going, we need to get some money? Come on now. Can't say I blame them. They're over there struggling, having to eat cup ramen and crazy stuff, selling blood. I knew athletes when I was in school sold blood, sold plasma. Y'all think I'm kidding? I'm not kidding at all. They sold plasma to make ends meet, and in some cases, to get a little extra. And the schools tried to help them. If you were a blue chip athlete, you got whatever you wanted. They finagled it, but you got it. But if you were a guy that just filled out the roster, man, you struggled. It was very difficult. But anyway, I look at this WNBA, I look at the outcome of whatever, Title 8 or Title 9, and I just think to myself, look, I'm happy these girls are making money, doing the thing they love, playing sports and all that. But there's a part of me that feels, I don't want to say sorrow, but there's an emptiness that says, who cares, man? I mean, look, I get it. We want it to be equal in the sense of gender, but it's not, even giving the girls their league, what people watch. They watch Stephen Curry. They watch LeBron James. They don't want to see these girls, no matter how talented they are, because they know deep in their heart that the girls don't match up to the guys. They can't do the gorilla dunks and all the things that guys do. That's the problem. But they shouldn't fret it. But we spent all this money on whatever the title number is. I forget what title 9 or whatever, and we've got a rinky-dink league that I don't know what's the viewership. So my producer came through and he says there are 2 divisions, 2 conferences. They're called conferences, Eastern and Western. 6 teams in each conference. Liberty is leading in the Eastern Conference, and Lynx is in the Western Conference. Now, Lynx and Sparks, Lynx has won 27 games, lost 7. Sparks has won 26 games and lost 8. While on the Eastern side, Liberty's won 22 games and lost 12. And Sun has won 21 games, and lost 13. So those are the major teams. They're a game apart at the top. In the Eastern Conference, the lowest team is Fever. Somebody get them some help. And the lowest team in the Western are the Stars. Lost a lot of games. So, and I don't know who will finish up. I don't know whose record. Those are the records of the top 2 teams in each division. And let's face it, they'll probably end up facing off those 2 teams. And then, a winner will be picked. But I don't think most people care. So let's take a look at salaries. This article says, it's no secret that basketball players in the WNBA are grossly underpaid when compared to their male counterparts in the NBA. Holy Lily Ledbetter. Seriously? They say, despite the fact, I love this, that they are essentially doing the same job. Even the most skilled WNBA player makes a fraction of what an NBA player who is benched a majority of the season may earn. For example, NBA 2016 MVP Stephen Curry made a whopping $11.4 million last season. Meanwhile, Nneka Ogumilike, the reigning WNBA MVP, who is one of the highest paid players, earned a mere $95,000 in 2016, the max salary in the league. She made $95,000. You know what? That's $95,000 that girl probably loves. She's doing what she loves and she's making money at it. She's good. I've seen her. They said, while all ballers dream of one day playing professionally, the average WNBA rookie can expect to earn a disappointing $36,500 for the year. WNBA players with at least 3 years earn $55,000, and the average player is paid $72,000. And they get bonuses and all kinds of stuff. Doesn't amount to a hill of beans, a shoe contract, a shoe deal, anything for Stephen Curry and all them, but it isn't equal. It's what the cost will bear. And apparently, like me, people aren't waiting around with bated breath to see what's going on in the WNBA. But you can bet somebody's going to make a gender issue out of this.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.